API testing sounds like it's only for developers. It's not. You don't need to write code. You don't need to understand the backend. You just need to know what to ask Claude, and it handles the rest. Today, I'll show you how. Subscribe so you don't miss the rest of Module 3. And if APIs have always felt out of reach, drop a comment. I'll show you exactly where to start. Here's what we're covering in this video. First, a simple explanation of what an API actually is. No jargon, no code, just a clear picture of where it sits and why it matters. Then how to describe an API endpoint to Claude and get a full set of test cases back, positive, negative, and edge cases included. We'll also ask Claude to write the actual Postman request bodies and test assertions so you can paste them straight in and run them. We'll look at what to validate in a response beyond just the status code, which is where most of the real bugs hide. And finally, how to spot integration bugs, the kind that only appear when the API and the UI disagree with each other. Let's start from the beginning, because I want everyone watching this to feel confident, whether you've tested APIs before or never touched one. An API is simply how different parts of an app communicate. Think of it like a waiter in a restaurant. You tell the waiter what you want. That's your request. The waiter goes to the kitchen, that's the server, and brings back your food. That's the response. The API is the waiter. In a real app, you click Place Order on the ShopMate checkout page. That sends a request to the API. The API validates it, passes it to the backend, the order gets created, the card gets charged, and the confirmation email gets sent. The API coordinates all of that. And here's what breaks without testing it. The UI tells the user the order was placed successfully, but the API actually returned an error. The order was never created. The user got a confirmation for nothing. That's the bug API testing exists to catch. Here's the prompt. Role, Senior QA Tester, who specializes in API testing. Context, we describe the endpoint, the post/API orders endpoint, what fields it accepts, and what it returns on success. Task, generate comprehensive test cases covering positive, negative, and edge cases. Format, a table with test ID, scenario request body, expected status code, expected response, and type. Look at what comes back. TCO1, valid order, expects 201 created, with an order ID and confirmed status. TCO4, missing payment method field, expects 400 bad request with a clear error message. TCO7, expired discount code, expects 422 with a specific message. And TC11, a 100% discount code that reduces the total to 0. That last one is the edge case that breaks payment integrations more than almost anything else. Claude found it. This slide is the most important thing in the whole video. Most testers look at a green status code and call it a pass. Here's why that's not enough. First, is it the right status code? 201 created is different from 200 OK. A successful order should return 201. If it returns 200, the API is technically working, but not behaving correctly. Second, are all the required fields present? If the API response doesn't include an order ID, the UI can't show the confirmation page. You need to explicitly check that every expected field is there. Third, are the data types correct? The API returns 9.90 as a string instead of 9.90 as a number. Your UI tries to do maths on it and breaks. This is one of the most common API bugs, and the status code tells you nothing about it. Fourth, are the values correct? 200 status, all fields present, correct types, but the total is £10 when it should be £8.50 after the discount. And fifth, are the error messages useful? Something went wrong is useless. A properly structured error tells the UI which field failed and why, so it can show the right message to the user. Claude generates checks for all 5 of these automatically. Here's the part that makes this practical immediately. Ask Claude to write the actual JSON request body for TC-01. It generates the complete payload, user ID, items, discount code, payment method, delivery address, copy it. Paste it into Postman. Done. Then ask for the Postman test assertions. It writes the JavaScript. Check the status is 201. Check the order ID exists. Check the total is a number, not a string. 3 assertions. Paste them into the Tests tab in Postman. Run the request. All three either pass or fail. You didn't write a single line of code yourself. And the pro tip, tell Claude which tool you're using. Say format this for insomnia or give me the curl command, and it adjusts the format automatically. Let's wrap up. This is video 1 of 5 in Module 3, and we've already covered something that puts a lot of testers ahead of where they were this morning. APIs are not a developer-only topic. You now know what they are, how to generate test cases for them, what to validate in a response, and how to get Postman-ready code without writing anything yourself. In video 12, we move to accessibility testing. How to use Claude to check your app against WCAG guidelines, identify screen reader issues, and make sure keyboard navigation works correctly. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you have an API you're trying to test and you're not sure where to start, comment below or send me an email. I'll walk you through the first prompt.